Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Headspace Podcast. This is the show where we review new rap albums and go through them track by track, giving our thoughts and our opinions. And this week, we're going to be talking about 2 Chainz' album, the brand new one he just put out, Rap or Go to the League. My name is HSR or Holden Stefan Roy, depending on how you know me. Normally, I'm joined with Mr. Christopher, I fucked that up, Chris Chrome. He had some shit to take care of this weekend. He'll be back next week, so it's just going to be a solo one this time. But before we get into it, I like to do the intro bit. And if you do want to skip that, in the description of this video, you will find a timestamp for like the entire review and when I talk about each song. So you can jump ahead to like the actual start of the Rap or Go to the League part. But to start, I'd like to point out that I'm not an expert. What I am is a person who decided one day to start doing some reviews, and a couple years later, I'm still here doing reviews. So my only qualifications here is that I've reviewed quite a few albums and I've learned a lot. Am I an expert? Nah, I'm a student of the culture, and that's why I go through this process. So you, person coming to this review, person watching this, I appreciate what you have to say more than you might imagine, because there's a good chance you're a bigger fan of Mr. Titty Boy, Mr. 2 Chainz, like than I am. I mean, you probably heard his music for longer and you probably care more. Not that I don't care, but because of your attachment to him as an artist, you probably care more and you know more. So along the way, if I say anything that you feel is a little silly, or if you agree, or if you just want to kind of add any kind of a comment, please put that into the comment section. And we're a small enough channel that I promise that every comment, positive, negative, good, bad, even if you're telling me I'm a stupid fucker with no right to be doing this, I will still answer you and give you that respect because you took that time to leave a comment. Just like on last week's review when we talked about Czarface meets Ghostface, and we had a comment from Jay, and I was kind of disappointed with the album. I expected a lot more from GFK, Ghostface Killer. I do think Esoteric killed it. He absolutely killed it. That was a great performance on that project. He's personally a fan of mumble rap, by the way, but he supports all types of raps, and I really like that open-minded approach to the comment, so I thought it was a really cool one. And yeah, if you do leave a comment, there's a chance next week I'll be reading your comment. I don't know if that's significant to you, but I do know some people, myself included, love it when people read their comments. It's a fucking great experience. Like, if I tweet a celebrity, like MC Lars recently, and he answers me, I'm just like, damn, that is the coolest shit ever. Because it's so fun. So, like, I mean, I'm not trying to imply that I'm a celebrity, but if you're going to take the time to comment on my channel, it's like the fucking least I can do is answer you. That's my philosophy. I'm really into that community building shit, so let's build a community of music lovers and shit. Unlike the other dudes who say that shit and then you comment and then, well, maybe they just have too many comments. I can't really talk shit. I don't have that many. Anyway, before we jump into the review, special thanks to the patrons Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prado, Super Old School 1994, Carl, and Mr. Lindell Williams. We'll talk a bit about that at the end of the video, but without them, we wouldn't be here still, so they're dope. And we're going to start talking about 2 Chainz and Rap or Go to the League now, so consider this the start of the review. Woo! I don't know, I'm in a weird mood. I had a nap, I had coffee, and I was like groggy and tired all day, and I just like snapped out of it. So anyway, I like to start off kind of contextualizing my relationship with the artist, meaning when I became a fan or didn't, if I've heard a lot of their work or not. And I think it's very important, kind of like what I was touching on just a little bit before when I was saying that if you're a huge fan of 2 Chainz and you've been with him since the beginning and like you know all of his stuff, hearing a project like this is going to have a certain level of significance on you. If you're brand new to 2 Chainz and this is the first time you've ever heard him, well, again, that's going to have a certain significance to you. So in my case, I don't remember when I first really heard of 2 Chainz, but I do like know it was kind of back. I remember I bumped I'm Different for a while, and I'm not gonna lie to anyone here. Sometimes all I want for my birthday is a big booty hoe, and I do convey that to the girlfriend, just kind of like in subtle hints with some hopes that just maybe one of those birthdays, that's what happens. It's possible. You know, the more you behave, the more possible it becomes, is all I'm trying to say. So, like, 2 Chainz to me has always... Well, at first I just thought he was stupid because I was kind of dumb about shit. And, like, I remember
just listening to his things, and I didn't really understand what trap music was about, and I was a bit of a fucking hater, and so I talked a lot of shit about 2 Chainz. But then I found out he had a degree, and then I got really, like, fascinated by 2 Chainz a little bit. Like, let's say what you will, and there's not that many drug dealers bragging about degrees that I hear in music, at least. So at the time, it was like maybe 2012, 13 or something. It was really kind of cool to me. Like, I don't even have a degree. I dropped out. So, like, fuck, 2 Chainz has outperformed me in the field of education. I didn't know how legitimate he was, but, like, this morning, actually, I watched him talking to Sway on Sway's Universe, and I linked that below because I thought it was a really cool interview to add some context into it. So, like, I didn't realize he was like an athlete and that he played ball, and I didn't realize that he actually sold some shit. And then I also didn't realize he was like brilliant, and so I used to like make fun of him for saying some shit like I'm different because I didn't see why he was different. But then the more I learned about him, it's like, damn, maybe 2 Chainz is a bit of a different beast out there compared to some of the others. But as for why I'm reviewing this album today is because he put out the Pretty Girls Like Trap Music project, and there was a remarkably, relatively at least, high number of people commenting on how good of a lyricist he was, like how we should have reviewed it or whatever. So I figured, okay, next 2 Chainz project, we'll check it out, we'll do it. And let's be real, he got on the Chloroseptic remix, and that was fucking cool. He was supposed to be on the project Revival, so I mean, the fact that everyone out there seems to be calling 2 Chainz a great lyricist really has me wondering, because I have never really gone through his other albums. I know his singles. I know that my absolute favorite part of Mercy by Kanye West is when he goes, 2 Chainz, and basically drops into his verse. It's the best part of the song to me. So, like, I love his 2 Chainz thing. Like, I never really took him that seriously as a person before because I always felt he was more of like a goofier, materialistic thing. But I don't know. I guess I was really wrong is what I came to see as I learned a lot more about the type of person he is. But going into this project, I guess, hearing what he had to say, it was interesting. I mean, it's relative to the whole review, but he kind of said, well, I've kind of reached this place in life where now maybe it's time to teach and grow and do something different than what I previously had done. And I was like, damn, that's a fascinating mentality. Because, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with being young and flossy anymore. I used to maybe have a problem with it because I was stupid, but I do think that the truly interesting artists of all time, as they got older, their music got older. Because then their like fan bases and shit can grow with them. And then like the younger ones can kind of go through the experience too and like catch up and have something to look forward to. So I think to see 2 Chainz kind of embrace that mentality that I'm started reading The Gospel of Hip Hop by KRS-One, and he kind of describes hip hop culture as something like that is about raising consciousness and awareness around your community, to share knowledge, to try to help alleviate poverty and shit. And when I was listening to like 2 Chainz and Sway talk, it really feels that 2 Chainz has reached this point in his life where he wants his music to really be almost the embodiment of at least what KRS-One seems to want the culture to be. And I thought that was a super nifty connection just to just mention just before like we get into the review. So y'all can let me know what you think about any of this, because like I don't think I'm talking out my ass, because it's all really new stuff I'm learning. So due to the fact that I haven't absorbed it and I'm not like years into being wise on this shit, it's sometimes a little easy to make some blunders along the way. So I do hope anybody out there does feel free to like correct me. As far as the title goes, it's super interesting. It's definitely something I've heard before, the idea that young black folk in the hood are faced with the prospect of basically rapping or playing ball or some kind of sports or entertainment lifestyle as the clean ways to get out the hood, as opposed to the drug dealing alternatives. So to have a guy like 2 Chainz, who in a sense has done it all, he's rapped, he's played ball in a sense. LeBron was actually involved in this project. 2 Chainz was super vague about what LeBron actually did. Like, he was super vague. He didn't pick beats, but he was involved, I know. So I thought that was an interesting point too. But like, it just when you really think about the title, it really is the dichotomy of choices. It's like, you're not like, go be a doctor. It's not go be a businessman. It's not invest in cryptocurrencies. It's not anything. It's rap or go to the league. And I think it's trying to be like a bold statement with the intent of highlighting almost how ridiculous it is. So like in a sense, what this album is going to communicate is maybe alternatives to that, or maybe commenting on that idea. And I thought it was really smart. I thought it was a really cool title. Like it's like even in the same vein as Pretty Girls Like Trap Music, it almost feels like it's trying to take on certain stereotypes or whatever and do something with them. I don't know. 2 Chainz is pretty cool. As far as that cover goes, to me that means absolutely nothing. It's a building. I guess I'll remember that particular shininess, the yellow crate. Like, I looked it up, couldn't figure out what the fuck that building was. So if y'all want to tell me what significance that has, that would be super dope. In the meantime, that cover means fucking nothing to me except to identify this project, and I guess that's a trap house of some kind. I might be wrong. Anyway, so like I said, I like to go through the songs track by track, and I think it's time to get into it, and I hope that y'all have some forgiveness in your hearts as I talk. The first 2 times maybe I heard this song, I felt a degree of, I don't know if I really like the sound of this. Not the rhymes, not the sound of it. Now, as a reviewer, just to let you know, I consider things like production, engineering, like how the actual mixing and mastering was done. Is the rapper on point? The flow, the lyrics, the actual sound. Do I enjoy the sounds? Do I respect the sounds? Because respect and enjoyment are not the same, right? Like, there's the objectiveness of that is well put together based on the science of music. And then there's, I like that science, or because like sometimes you just like some bad shit. That's just facts. Anyway, so I like to kind of put that all together when I think about it. So at first the sound, I wasn't feeling it, but the rhymes were immediately kind of interesting because he has this very talky, like almost like he's a little bit preaching, and like I have some very important shit to say in his tone of voice. But what was super noteworthy is just right at the beginning, that introduction. And we'll introduce to you the starting lineup. We're going to introduce now the North Clayton Eagles, coached by James Gwynn. His starters, number 21, Tahid Epps. And that's 2 Chainz. And then you get like this, So it's just like right away, an actual intro game footage of him as a ball player. Then Marsha Ambrosia with her gorgeous ass voice. Like, it's a beautiful voice for the kind of beat it is. Prayer for our sins. I pray for the sins. Tears that we're crying. Let them all be forgiven. Let it be forgiven. Just let it be forgiven. And you have this idea of like bad shits happen, but people want to grow. People want to be forgiven. People want to start over again. And in this society where like it's almost like everyone's guilty for something. Like, most of us have some demon or another that in the court of Twitter and social media we'd all be guilty for. Society, and then I don't know whether legal or otherwise. So it's an interesting chorus, and it's a heavy way to start it. Like, so you have the potential of him as a youth, this basketball starter, and then something went wrong along the way just within that chorus. And I think it's a really powerful start, especially the song's like 5 minutes. It's got to come in strong and it's got to hit hard. And after you listen to the beat a couple of times, now what's funny is 2 Chainz was like in that interview with Sway, this album's supposed to be done in a way where when you listen to it, you're going to immediately know if you like it or not. He's wrong. The more I listened to this, the more it really grew on me, and the more I liked it. So if I had trusted my initial reaction, I don't know that I would have liked this song as much as it really grew on me. But the 3rd, 4th time in, it's like you really start to feel some energy on this shit when he's like, in the dope game, trying to reach my peak and go undefeated. I pleaded with the judge. This my first offense. High school b-ball. I'm trying to get a scholarship. And that's some real shit, you know, because he did go to jail a couple times. And so you just picture him in front of a judge being like, look, I know it's bad. Please don't fuck up my life. I can get out. I'm good enough. Just if you do this, it's over, you know? On a bumpy road like an ATV EBT used to give me peace, a smile on the outside, inside discreet. As far as the past, wish I could press delete. Let my dogs off the leash, rather buy it than lease or get murdered in the streets. Fine line. And then it's like this interesting twist on it where he almost regrets some of the things he's done in the past, but it kind of takes it on the death note right away. Like it's it's so close. It's such a fine line. And I think it's heavy, and I think it's serious, and I think it's like real. I think it's like just talking about maybe some of the things that haunt him as he closes his eyes at night, when he has those days where like he really just gets pensive. And I feel like people who've gone through stuff, even if you're in control, even if you're living your best life, you're gonna have moments where you're just haunted by your past. And that's what I feel like this is. It's like the weight that nobody talks about, and it's really well done. But just when you think like, okay, where's it gonna go with this song? Got a phone call from Lil Fate. Somebody shot his son. He didn't make it. My head aching, hands start shaking, foul beyond fragrant. He said, bro, what I'm supposed to do? I pause remorseful. We've been partners since public schools. Kids ain't supposed to die before us. As a parent, it's a parent, ain't no parent. Seeing stops once we leave the carriage. And it goes on with the whole rest of the verse, and just kind of like maybe rethink your shit, because, you know, people, like, if you die, it's gonna hurt, you know. And it's kind of blunt, and it's not like he's doing anything here to be like overly coded. He's just flat out saying like, check it, this is real. Remember that time Lil Fate's son died? Well, I do. I had to talk to him and have words for him, because it's not right that like kids die before their parents. So from like a thematic point of view, I feel like 2 Chainz is using his platform to try to offer some truth, and to try to maybe add a counterbalance to some of the more youthful aspirations that he had. And I like that, because I feel like redemption is an important thing. And if you get older and more mature, you have kids, you become that role model in your mind. To own it and to be that person is a very commendable and interesting thing. Then there's that outro, which is just heavy and deep. And, you know, she's got like, in all his majesty and might, his brilliance and his beauty, his black and his blue, boy still slips from their lips when they address him. So I now understand what that means, because I read a book that on the N word, and apparently, I didn't know people do this, but people call black people boy no matter what their age is, and this like racism kind of way to emasculate men and shit. And so just kind of running through that, it's like, you know them love black boy strength, but don't love black boys. Let me see your hands. Gunshot. I'm like, I don't know. I've been trying to learn a lot and read a lot over the last while more about this type of shit, the history. At some point, I have to learn more specifically about the Jim Crow shit. I mean, I kind of have a general idea at this point. In general, it's just fucked up, man, how the overall tone of how black people might get treated. And it's just, I feel like 2 Chainz is trying to almost ask for forgiveness for maybe glorifying this shit by putting maybe not ask for forgiveness. This is how I interpret it, but he's like, he once maybe has glorified some of this lifestyle, and now he's kind of trying to maybe change the tone of shit in his own way. And I thought it was really nice. Like, I don't know, it was really a heavy song to me. It was so well tight. Like, his verses, it's not like he's being tricky, but he's on point. His delivery has such a flair to it. Every syllable is clear and crisp and on where it's supposed to be. I'm really impressed with his abilities, because he's able to take a simple form of rap and make it so impressive that it almost is just complicated. Listening to the nuances of his flow, in my opinion. Like, if you really listen to the nuances of what he does and compares it against a lot of other dudes at that tempo and speed, I think he's kind of got to step up in technique in his delivery. I really like this song, so I gave it a 4.5. That beat really grew on me over time. It has this nice production, and again, it's like, I don't know about again. I had this conversation in real life. It wasn't really with y'all, so now you're getting it again because of my in real life experience, but I was commenting on how there seems to be this trend of kind of fusing old school, but like in a 2019 kind of way. And that's an amazing thing, as the trend towards music is clearly shifting towards this more lyrical. Like, there's no like real effects. It's almost bare bones. It's almost punk in its rawness that it's kind of putting out there. And I think it's really cool. All right. There's still a lot more to talk about. And so the next one is Threat to Society.
Wanna sell my soul, going once, going twice, never sold.
Like, this has again this beautiful old school flair in that beat. This song samples So Good to Be Alive by the Truthettes, and it just sounds really nice. That's the best I can say. It flows into the beat. Her voice just kind of works throughout the song, and it's executed in a way where you can tell that, like, on a production front, they took the time after, like, the rhyming was done just to make sure that, like, the right sample nuances were in the right places, just to make it flow a little bit more dynamically and alive than, say, your average use where it might just be slapped on the hook and then it just drops into your boring ass 16. A lot of those cookie cutter beats you can buy online are really boring in the verses. So, like, I appreciate when they make those subtleties to make it, like, really rich and nice sounding. His rapping is tight. Natural disasters, all these emotional rappers. Master of my own fate and I own my masters. Whoa. So in a world where everyone's, I guess, a little bit emotional and trap and everything, everyone's kind of in this new era, you know, and there's natural disasters in a literal sense, but also maybe in a musical, explosive, emotional kind of sense going on in hip-hop. You have him immediately following up that he controls his destiny, and key to a lot of things, he owns his own masters. So while everyone else is getting fucked, 2 Chainz is getting paid. I respect that. That's a cool way to start off your song. Like, to imply that you is actually in control of your universe and you own your rights to your music, that you have that kind of business acumen. At least it speaks to me as a person, and it inspires me as a person. Don't let this smooth taste fool you. When I bust, I school you. They throw rocks and hide behind a computer. It's yellow tape and white chalk when I'm on the beat. Yeah, you rich, but your talk is cheap. Oof, that's nice. Like, because he comes in so calm. This presence of like you don't feel a threat per se, but there is a threat. Because while you are sitting there talking your shit, while you are doing whatever, he is wrecking this beat because he has this smoothness to him, but he's tight, he's on point, and he has shit to say. And the way he describes killing the beat, yellow tape and white chalk, it's not like it's over the top, but it is a nice kind of swagged out flair to, like, a wordplay. Like, it's an elaborate way of describing shit. So even if you have money, it doesn't matter if you ain't got shit to say. And then you never seen him trying to walk a sheep. He's so famous he can't even cough in peace. Like, that's an interesting point. I guess you can't smoke or do anything, or I don't really know. Maybe just coughing in and of itself attracts attention. I don't get the line 100%, but I did get the point where he is trying to keep it real. Flows it on over, and then, you know, you're like, okay, you crying over spilt milk, probably never seen your friend killed, probably never seen your dad die, or played dodgeball with Fed time. I done some things I ain't proud of, like sold my mom drugs. I'm like, whoa, that's some serious shit. Like, just in the, like, okay, like, you sold your mom drugs. Now, I'm not trying to judge him or anything. I admire the courage it would take to just be that real, saying this is what I once did in my life, and I can own that now. And as a grown person, I can't hide from my past. This is what happened, you know? I dodged the cops. My dad, I watched him die, you know? Like, I've seen friends done. So when I hear you people whining, being so emotional, talking your cheap talk, I think about what I've been through. Your bullshit's bullshit, in my opinion. But he doesn't end it there, which is, like, the big criticism I can make of the 90s is that this is where the story ends. And what I'm happy, and when I was hoping for the revival of the 90s, the 20 years later thing we're going through now, I was hoping we would fix this problem. 2 Chainz is contributing to the fixing of this problem because the story doesn't end there. And everybody's story ended there. His goes, you know, they want to sell my soul. Going once, going twice, never sold. Best story that was never told. Keep in mind that I have several episodes, a lot of things to be thankful for. A wife and 3 kids. I'm going to make it 4. I mean, hold up. So he did all the dark shit. He's remorseful for it in a sense. He's okay with it. He's not trying to hide who he was. He stuck true to himself and he made it through. He didn't talk. There's a lot of things you don't know. But at the end of the day, he ends it on, I'm grateful for what I have. In fact, we're procreating and my family's growing. What? You don't hear a lot like that. You don't hear a lot of verses that take you through that kind of journey, in my opinion. I mean, you do. You person watching this probably do. But in like a more 2 Chainz level of guy kind of way, like, you gotta understand, it's like when I hear 2 Chainz, and again, this is my preconception, this is based on my hearing it, I'm thinking of shit like look back at it, you know, like like just a different. This is really amazing to me. I feel like everything I thought I knew has just been blowing up, and this is another album on that list of people who talk shit about how hip hop is not being made, don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So when he does go, never get the credit I deserve. I don't know if you hear in every word. I now know I have to go back and listen to everything because he's right. I never gave him any credit, and he has at least earned and deserved that shit, in my opinion. And then I just like I'm a threat. You know, like it's so minimalistic. It's so little, and that's kind of the point. He's a threat, but you don't perceive him that way because he's not being so loud, because he's not like that. He's just fucking subtle. It's kind of like he'll shank you with like this little skinny blade that pierces you in a way you don't even feel it, and then all of a sudden you take your shirt off and you're dead. I don't know. That's what I picture with it. It's fucking interesting. Second verse is pretty fine. I don't know if there's a lot more, except that I love the fact that he points out how much he learned from Coach Gwynn. You know, like how he just learned how to deal with conflict almost through basketball. Balance, eye contact, elbow room, follow through. That's it. And in a sense, like when you're grinding, that is basic project management described in 2 Chainz language. So I mean, plan, make your lists, eye contact, figure out your goals, define your targets, elbow room, you know, make sure you understand what you got to do when you got to do it, follow through, execute the plan, make it happen when you said it would. That's project management. So good on you, 2 Chainz, for dropping corporate knowledge through street rhymes. Another line that, again, just blows my mind because you're sitting there like, I sold dope and rapped about it on my mixtapes. I had respect, but I gained more. You rather be underrated or unemployed. Think on it. And that's something that I really should think on sometimes because we get a little bit too big for our britches. Maybe something at your company pisses you off at work or whatever. And then you hear a 2 Chainz talking and he asks you a really pivotal question. Do you want to feel undervalued or would you rather be fucking broke? Perspective, man. Really think about that shit. What is the bigger play? You know, and I really felt inspired by that shit. Anyway, I like this song more than I liked the last song. I thought this was like, wow, we're on track 2 and I'm blown away by 2 Chainz. This is a 4.75. I can't give it the 5 because there's just something about it, a little something that makes me now want to go put this on in like a preference kind of way. And I want y'all to know this is subjective preference. Like a 5, I actually gotta want to bump that shit. I want to listen to this in a pensive, I want to learn way. This is like something to put on now and again. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. It's just my feelings on it. I heard it. I feel inspired by it. And I'm going to be quoting it as dope shit. But the sound is not 100% my favorite. Even if the talent's all there. Anyway, instead of just defending my grades that are really high, I don't know. Sometimes it's weird. I don't see you. I can't. It's just me in a room right now. Let's talk about Money in the Way.
I'm from the south side, gonna throw it up. Been around lane, niggas give me.
So I'm a bit of a geek. I like technology. Technology, to me, like I love it the way like rappers love fashion. I literally have that as a line on my song that I'm working on. It's like I'm into tech like rappers love fashion. But then I heard him on this very track as him as in 2 Chainz go. It's definitely in the way the bezel get replaced. I'm like, that's a good. That was it. That was when like I felt like the weight of 2 Chainz. It clicked in my mind. All he had to do was talk about some shit that Samsung talks about, and I'm in. You know. So bezels are like the edge of your screen, all right. And so the big trend in like fashion. So in a sense, this is the flossiest song. Like, flossiest line about like, so in the way, some problems, let's say your tech, your people, your whatever, you got to upgrade, replace it. So in a sense, bezels on phones and technology monitors has been something that was considered in the way. It was like retail estate of screen that was being wasted. So you replace the bezels with more screen, creating a bigger upgrade. So anything that was in the way, like money, can be spent on better technology to have a bezel-less experience. Therefore, the money's not in the way, and you have a more practical fucking tool. I was like, listen, you're gonna be making some fucking bars about being richer than me. At least rap about something I would care about. And somebody did. So thanks, 2 Chainz. I really love that line. That's line of the album, maybe, for me, in terms of, like, my favorites that I've heard that caught me off guard. Y'all don't have to agree, but that's really where I'm at with that one. This song is flossy. The beat is not my favorite, but it's really well made. So I appreciate the sound of it. I appreciate how well put together, how sample driven it sounds. I appreciate how he flows on it. And he really does. Like right off the jump, psychedelic flow, I'm the dope and the antidote. Fade down the street from the pocket store, what you know. Going back and forth, in and out, moving lateral. That's a really cool line because it's almost like he's on the flow and he's weaving through the beat. And as he's doing it, he's describing it, you know, and he's so dope. He's the antidote. That was a fun line. Still, in and out, moving lateral. Lateral is just back and forth. I mean, it's redundant, but it's a clever redundant, and I appreciate that. I don't know. There wasn't a whole lot of specific lyrics in this song I thought were absolutely next level. Like, bought a new scale, trying to calibrate, trying to add it up, I'm trying to allocate, rockin' reptile, talking alligate. You can clap that, talking patty cake. So, it's actually really well written, in my opinion. The rhymes are good. He's on point. His flow. It's not like on the one hand, it doesn't actually sound like this is something I've heard before. But on the other hand, songs about being rich and making and having a lot of money are cool to a degree to me. On the other hand, I kind of recognize that, like, if you are going to be making this kind of album where you're trying to speak to a certain community, you do need to have that credentials. So, like, if you're going to have the knowledge songs, it's probably a good idea to have good flossing songs too. So the fact that he's flossing with intelligence and some shit, but he's like kind of also having that humility of remembering where he came from. Like, I came from canned goods, I came from paper plates. God don't make mistakes, but he'll make a way. You know, he's still adding in shit like that to remind you just what's important. I respect it. I really think this is a cool song. The chorus is fine. Like, it just feels like it's so well written and I want to like it more, but in general, the overall subject matter of the song only interests me as much as it does. Still, I admire what 2 Chainz is doing here. I think it follows suit with this, like, theme. And the fact that, again, like, just shit, like, he's adding lines like Basil so that you're Googling shit and getting interested in new things. Like, that's what I'm hoping. He's able to mix all these different angles in. So it's almost like in the same song, he has, like, a little line for so many different types of people. I think that's really cool and really impressive. I gave this song a 4.3. I really think it's well done, even if it's not my favorite, and that's totally fine. So the next one is called Statute of Limitations.
I met with Def Jam, asked Chris and 20 who was the X-Man, no Wolverine.
This is a fascinating song. First of all, what is a statute of limitations? Now, for everyone who just goes, of course I know what the fuck that is, well, then there's the other few people who don't know what it is, and this is for those people. In the United States of America, and I have to specify that because it doesn't exist necessarily the same way in my country, there's a limited time upon which your crimes can be prosecuted. 5, 7 years or so. It says 5 on Genius. I've also heard 7. So I don't know if there's like, it's a federal thing or if it's a state thing. So what that means is if you commit a crime, you gotta wait 5 to 7 years before you can rap about it. And I actually think just the fact that he chose to rap about some shit that, like, he did in his past that is no longer, or the statute of limitations to prosecute that crime is over with, is a really powerful message to people who might be living that shit. It's like, just be careful when you're talking about your specifics that you can't be prosecuted for them, because as we've seen with guys like Bobby Shmurda, they will come for you if you snitch in your fucking lyrics. I mean, I personally don't involve in that lifestyle, but I do understand the corruption in the legal system, and I really do know that snitching is snitching, and anybody can know what snitching is. Anyway, why I mentioned the USA thing is because I live in Canada, and apparently in Canada there is no statute of limitations on crimes that are indictable. So as long as you can get indicted on a charge, even if it's 60 years later, in theory, you can go to jail for it. And I just read an interesting lawyer piece this morning saying that, unfortunately, this means that we're prosecuting people from, like, all eras and not necessarily focusing on newer, more relevant crimes. So I was curious to know what your thoughts on statute of limitations were, because up until today, I never thought about it. So Thanks, 2 Chainz. Apparently the song was supposed to be called something else, but then in light of what it was about, they changed it. And as far as what it's about, McDaniel Street, I had a bag full of bombs. Southside, I used to serve Lil Jon, so we sold drugs to Lil Jon. On a Godboy road, I shot dice with Troop. That's a significant person according to the internet. Hit the D Mall and I served with Big Unc. Anytime 50 came down, I served Buck. You get the idea what this is kind of is. He's just kind of citing some of his more significant adventures as a dealer, you know. Carbon 15 hit me. Jeezy won a zip. And Weezy going by everything set to brick. Like, these are significant players coming through, and when they needed some shit, 2 Chainz was the guy they got. Then his chorus, I thought was, right before the chorus, I really like, he goes, see, I can run a checkup, and you just run your lip. I can run a checkup. And he repeats it a bunch, and it's like, you ain't running shit, is how he ends it right before the chorus. And I thought that was cool because, really, he can back up the claim. I mean, he really can. And considering how many people talk about selling drugs, who lease and do all that lame shit. I can't say names because I don't actually give a fuck. I don't really follow the gossip side that much, but since every legit rapper seems to be talking about all the fake people in the industry, and you meet these guys, and apparently, you know, like even K. Reno said it, like you'll meet somebody and just know. It's just kind of like, yeah, he can do it. He's legit, and you should be careful running your fucking mouth, especially if you didn't even commit that shit. When you're talking to 2 Chainz, you're dealing with a ex-drug dealer, ex-athlete, used to take people's girls with me, you know, and then he just kind of rolls. And that's an interesting just thing. It's like, this is my credentials. This is where I come from. You know what the fuck is up. Who are you? What are you even talking about? And then, you know, I kind of really enjoyed when he went, you won't meet a girl that says she left me. I left her on the left knee soon as she effed me. It's not like a particularly great line in terms of ingenuity, but it is definitely a more interesting way to describe fucking a wham bam thank you ma'am situation. No girl leaves him. It's always him bangs the girl takes out, so he's so fly. If you're going to do it, be cool like that. Do some shit where you can be like left her on the left knee, left me, rhyme that shit like that and make it sound interesting. I thought that was nice. Overall, I just had a little bit of trouble getting into the sound of this one too. The sparse beat was really nice, but I feel like it was a little bit more on the trappier side that I don't relate to as much, or the sound, it wasn't really in the sphere of what I want to put on, but I still really like and respect what he's doing with this project. So it's almost like in the first 2 songs I really fucking like. The next 2 songs I really respect, even if I don't like it quite as much. So I gave it a 4.35 because I can tell how well made it is. I can tell how on point it is, how tight it is, how well done it is. And my enjoyment is just a little bit of the grade. Anyway, that's cool. And I believe we get a little friend joining us on the next one as we talk about our high top Versaces.
But been on the pedal, I've been on this level, yeah. When I married Keisha, only time.
I don't know any other guys from the ghetto with a Versace deal. Maybe not Versace, but I do think that A$AP Rocky could have a Versace deal. So I just want to throw that out there. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but he looks like the kind of guy that could get a Versace deal. Anyway, I had a lot of trouble with this one because it's a really well-made, flossy trap song, but like Young Thug doesn't sound bad to me. I don't understand the hate towards guys like Young Thug. Like, people think that what he does is talentless. I hear what he does, and it's a little bit like, it's not like my favorite, the effects he uses and shit, but he's really articulate or enunciates well. I find him really clear. I find he has like a cool bass melody. I feel like he enhances flow, but he still has this like flow that's his. I mean, he says like almost nothing that I care about. I mean, I got yellow shit sucking my socks off. It's so crazy how this money started a lot of stuff. All this motherfucking money starting to double up. It's fine. This is not really me. I'm not the audience of this song. But 2 Chainz still raps well. Like, 2 Chainz still comes in and does his shit. Like, I'm a beast, I'm a dog, I ain't taking no days off. I appreciate a man on the grind. Autumn cloudy ass diamonds got your necklace look like fog. I guess that means that you're, I guess, yeah, diamonds are supposed to be clear, I suppose. So if you have bad diamonds, they'll be cloudy. I don't know. I don't fucking do the jewelry thing. That's not me. But I get it. Even if I was rich, I don't think I'd do a lot of jewelry. I don't know. I respect it. Like, the way 2 Chainz just loves jewelry, that's really cool. Because, like, as much as I say I don't have jewelry, if you made the jewelry do technological things, I have all the jewelry. Because, like, an Apple Watch is jewelry. I can't afford a cool watch like that, but if I could, I'd have, like, 8 of them just lined up, like every fucking watch synced to my phone. Yeah, no, I get it. I just have to remember that I treat tech the way these guys treat fashion and shit. Fair enough. When my foot been on the pedal, I've been on this level. When I married Keisha, only time I'm gonna settle. Hope you prepared. Yeah, the dragon's there. Yeah, I've been spitting fire. No, you motherfuckers scared. It's fine. It's fine. Like, this is not really one that I'm into, while I recognize how well done it is. I don't know. That's something I find happens more and more as I listen to stuff that isn't meant for me. Because and this is the part of the album where I find when it's a good album, I'm able to say this. These songs have been kind of different, sound-wise, changing it up. So we're 5 tracks in, and I feel like we've gotten 5 different concepts and 5 different sounds. Couple flossy, but different kinds of flossy. So this one isn't so money in the way. This one is more fashiony. I don't know that this is 100% for me. But from an album point of view, he's reaching more people by doing this, and he's creating it's all sticking to his main theme of maybe looking at the different cultural parts of hip-hop and just what's preached to people and, like, what's out there. And I think it's really cool in terms of how he's sticking to the theme of the album, even if this one is a little bit more, on my opinion, on the vapid side. I still feel how a lot of people want this kind of sound, and to be able to do more of a lyrical, heavy tone song followed by something like High Top Versace, and I know there's some other heavier shit coming, to see that kind of flow in and out of topics and creating a more content-driven project that still has that kind of floss. I think it's kind of relevant if you're a guy like 2 Chainz to hit the different parts of your fan base, so well done. Not as much for me. I give it a 4.15. I would definitely skip this one personally, but not out of like, oh, this song sucks, but just there's other songs I like on this project, and it's hard for me to get into this subject matter. Anyway, the next one features Mr. Astro World, Mr. Travis Scott, so why don't we talk about Whip?
Whipping again, once again. I don't need
We're still on this more flossy, I guess. I don't want to call it vapid because it's vapid based on my interest. I don't care about, like, just words like whipping again, whipping and whipping and whipping again, back at it again, back at it again, all winter, all summer, Range Rovers, Black Hummers. This is not, I don't get pumped by that shit. It just doesn't work for me. So Travis Scott sounds really lovely, but he says literally nothing in that hook that interests me. So the song fails to hook me the way that it might hook you. Still, that's fine. When 2 Chainz starts, Celebrate, KFC, I was like, that's kind of clever. You know, and it went 20, LLCs, Alexa Play, Who Played Me? And that's when he got me. He had the fucking Alexa line, adding in a little bit of tech, adding a little bit of voice assistant shit, but then arrogantly and flossy like, yo, but who's playing 2 Chainz right now? Now I'm going to go ask Alexa if that's a question. Or I don't have an Alexa, I have a Google Home. So I'm going to ask the OK Google if that works. I hope my phone didn't just, oh fuck, my phone did. Thankfully it's locked. So you can't even fucking do that, right? Because if you're using an Android phone like me and you say OK Google, it's going to fucking trigger and it's going to record what you're saying and ask a stupid ass question. The worst is when you have the little OK Google in the living room and your phone, and then the one, it picks up both, but the one on your phone does not understand what the fuck you're saying, and then the one, anyway. I don't know if you guys use these. This is just tangent. I like the line, if you finer than Fashion Nova, because I don't know, I've seen a lot of their clothes. There's this one girl who puts stories on my Facebook, and she keeps buying shit from them, and they look like they're pretty solid for what they do. I'm curious, if y'all buy clothes off of Fashion Nova or know anything more about the company, but it does make you really want to see what's in them jeans if the stuff is really nice. It's like it's fine. It's just not. I just don't really know what I'm supposed to be taking personally from this song, but it also has to do with the fact that I don't really live this life, and a lot of this shit, like, I'm not into the fashion, I'm not into that kind of flossing, so it's a little bit hard for me to get into. I mean, I do appreciate his skill, and I appreciate the fact that he's still kind of keeping consistent. His rhyming is solid. It's just like, she do whatever I want. Yeah, I had to Maybach for 5 years. I still never sat in the front. Yeah, that's a cool line because other people drive for him and shit, I guess. Especially if you smoke a lot of marijuana, you should probably not drive. It's good to have drivers. I bought her designer Lil Momma. I'm proud of her. She got a body pick out of a lineup. She ever leave me, I'm coming to find her. Whip in the kitchen. I'm chef at the katanas. To me, that's just good. It's just like he's rhyming words to me. It's fine. I'm sorry if this is not the right reaction. I respect the talent. I really enjoy the sound of the beat. I really enjoy the sound of 2 Chainz. So like if I tone out what he's actually saying and I just let this song play and I don't think about the words, I actually really enjoy the vibe of the song. And I think it's actually really fun to listen to. But once I start thinking about the words, I go into I think too much, and it kind of ruins it a little bit for me. I'll give this a 4.2. It's really well made, but the last 3 songs are not 100% for me. It was a little bit harder. This is the part where I was like, uh-oh, the first 2 are so good. Am I gonna like what's left on this album? I don't know. Let's go through the rest of the journey together. Y'all can find out as we talk about NCAA.
I might take her head on tour. I used to roll my weed.
So this is a cool song. I feel like that this is really playing up on the title of the song, Rap or Go to the League. So in the first verse, I think we're talking more rapping, trapping, that traditional style of thing. I take this open beat, I smoke myself to sleep, got myself for free, make a left right on the street, and he's just kind of spitting and just kind of walking you through the story. Almost feels like describing the trap life a bit. Said, fool, that's the ocean. I use good pussy like it's lotion. I shoulda for promotion. Drop my album off the court to make them post it. I told you trapping is a sport. I'm like, damn, that does sound a lot about the kind of shit, you would look at and how people play it. And I suppose it really kind of can be viewed as a sport, especially with money or fame as the scorecard. I don't want to comment a lot about, like, what, the circumstances of being a drug dealer, the ethics in it, but when you do look at it from a music perspective, yeah, it's a fucking sport. Just watching the rappers go at it and trying to be fly with it and trying to do it all, and sometimes it almost feels like people take it to a more extreme situation. Anyway, I like when he said, my last bitch got some head you can't ignore. I told her I might take her on tour. I used to roll my weed in front of the store, then drive so fast I disrespect your car. I told him that my drizzle caviar, I'm playing with the clit like a guitar. I just feel so flossy. It just feels so fly. But then, and I'm like, what does that have to do with the NCAA? That was my thoughts at this point. Then you get the chorus. Yeah, NCAA, we the young and dangerous. We be balling hard. Yeah, I just want some paper. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. There's been quite a few people who's covered the plight of the NCAA. So, the quick version, which I'm sure most of you know, is they're contractually obligated to make no money. They essentially play for free. They make billions of dollars for these colleges and these organizations. The coaches are some of the highest paid public servants in America, as in your tax money is paying these coaches as they make these billions of dollars. And basically, it's to the point where, like, you can't sell merch, but they can sell merch with your likeness. And if I'm not mistaken, it's like one of the only ways to go pro is to go through the NCAA. So you have no choice but to do it. And they're completely, like, fucked. They're broke. They're overworked. And they have to maintain good grades because they're here on scholarships. It starts to get explored in the second verse. So let me get this straight. If I drop 40 today, you don't care if I eat. You don't care if I ate. They say you better have good grade like a mixed baby hair. They say we go into a tournament, we gonna need you there. I'm like, damn, you're just cattle. You're just a fucking, oh, you're black, you're giant, you can play ball, great, you better be there, you better show up. Oh, you want money? Remember that scholarship? You want to go back to the fucking hood? That just sounds dirty, and it is dirty, and I really appreciate that. And then he kind of goes through the verse. I can't wait to go to the league so I can buy my mama what she want. That mindset, that mentality made me a killer fatality from the public houses to a couple houses to a couple cars, sipping couple tea, no teacup. Just a bully. I've read up with a fully. My mood changed about money. Might open up another company, put that in an LLC. Like, how you gonna try and sue me? And that's it. Like, so let's say a kid did want to make money off of their likeness, they could literally be liable of being sued, which is what you're supposed to do this. Like, if I pop and my brand, my face, my likeness, my image works, I'm totally going to be having that as a company so I can profit off of that. But because nobody owns me, I can do that. Because of these contracts these kids sign, they can't. But then there's no other way around it. Because what? You're not going to take the scholarship to go to fucking school? Like, that's the whole point of the grind. It's just such a twisted fucking system. I digress. Then it touches on Manziel had the highest selling jersey. Baron moved back to Cleveland. Drake made a song about him. Man, he ain't even working. And that's just powerful. Like, because these kids can't profit off at a time when they're in school, because all it could take is an injury or maybe a scandal or maybe if something happens to you. So they can't actually make bank. They can't do anything with it. They have no security nest. And that means that, let's say there's a funnel of this many people that could be making money off of their brand, and only this many people will ultimately get to the final stage. Of all these people who should be profiting, only these ones will. And that's fucked up, because all of us, like, man, I know what March Madness is, you know, like, even, you know, like, all sorts of shit. So much happens off of the culture, the NCAA, and it's fucked up. It's just fucked up. And then the little outro. I think that we have brainwashed our kids in the black community to think they can only be entertainers, jocks. I said, first of all, we can be doctors, lawyers, engineers, teachers, fire, and policemen. And the truth of the matter is you got a much better chance of being one of those than you do in being in the NBA. And that's a powerful idea and a powerful sentiment, because it's kind of true. Like, really, numerically speaking, even if you're in the worst circumstances, you have a higher chance of getting into law school, because there's just more available positions in law school or med school than there are players who play in the NBA. Now, I might be a bit of a hypocrite. I'm trying to be a rapper, podcasting, fucking everything. Don't get me wrong. I'm still chasing that dream, but I also have a day job, and I also know what happens if the dream doesn't work. So, but I'm also privileged as fuck with, you know, coming from Canada and being in a very different life. So I'm not trying to compare that. Sometimes I forget what I'm talking about. But, like, I don't want to imply, like, I know better than the mentality. But I know what 2 Chainz is trying to teach and what mentality he's discussing. Because I used to be poor. And when you grow up poor, it is tough to believe in making the right choices. And you will do sometimes more desperate things. Anyway, I like this. This is like, wow. All of a sudden, we're back at it. All of a sudden, the album's back on tone with, like, cool shit, in my opinion. And this is a 4.5. I really, really enjoyed this song. The next one features Kendrick Lamar, and it's called Momma, I Hit a Lick.
They were like, man, need fresh. I was like, go DJ, go.
So, in his mind, and this is from 2 Chainz' own mouth on my interview, hit a lick is anything. Like, whether it's crimes, to songs, to winning, to losing, it's just, I did my shit. I got my things, no matter what it is. I accomplished or was successful in a thing. So, Momma hit a lick. Abandoned another podcast. That would be my version of it. Maybe your version is something more illicit. Maybe your version is something more 9 to 5-y. Maybe your version is what it is. Anyway. 2 Chainz came in. I mean, he's next to K-Dot, so he's got to come in. Not to say that he's actually failed. Like, I feel like any one of these songs 2 Chainz performed up to, like, the par to be next to Kendrick Lamar, in my opinion. Not to imply, like, that's what I'm trying to say. Not to imply he wasn't elsewhere, but maybe you didn't want to do the whip subject matter quite the same on this one. But this has some really fucking great lines in it. Just right off the jump, I'm coming, baby, send the address. Progress, never digress. You the last one, didn't pass the fly test. I eat rappers, no digest. I was like, all right, that's a pretty cool start off. He's about moving forward. He's about fucking up rappers who can't handle him. Fuck a piece, he wants to hold pie graph, money taller than a giraffe. All right, he's coming in. I can't say any of that's next level to me, but it was still enjoyable. It's still a good fucking energy. I'm feeling it. Fox on me like Vivica, like that line. Then he said, they was like, man, he fresh. I was like, go DJ, go. When they play your new shit, I was like, no DJ, no. You can go on, skip that. I'll buy a house and flip that. And I was like, that's it. That's the dopest shit from 2 Chainz' part. Because the Manny Fresh Go DJ song, great fucking line. And that's some classic shit. You put it on, yeah, let's listen. Oh, your new shit's trash, whatever. You can skip that in the same way that he buys property to flip it for more money. That's intelligent shit. If you are wealthy, do the real estate thing. Poor folk like me, well, you dream about being wealthy enough to do the real estate thing. They say chilly in a way where it kind of sounds like killy, or Tilly. I couldn't hear it properly at first, but then I realized it's chili. Kendrick Lamar comes in, and so sorry, something I forgot to push is it's like, so that Kendrick song there with J-Rock in Future wins a Grammy, so it's like 2 Chainz has to do the high-pitched like la-di-da-di-da kind of voice for a half second on his song, so he does that. But then Kendrick comes in and he starts rapping, fall off on this bitch, I ball off on this bitch, my comments hit the floor, you call on this bitch, I threw 100 more. So he's flossing, but then he drops his voice and does I've never heard that one before that. So I don't like Kendrick's high-pitched voice, I think it's fucking annoying. But his low-pitched voice, it was like, is there a feature? Who the fuck is that? He goes on and he flosses, but I was really more fascinated just by his voice and by how he kept changing back and forth and how much, I guess, control he has, almost syllables, like changing almost from like a high to a normal mid line at one point. I thought that was super fascinating. I don't know that when Kendrick does features, he ever really says a lot that interests me as a person. Most often I feel like he's there and he flosses out, and I feel like he treats it like a feature is a place he can be more of a traditional rapper, whereas on his albums he's going to be this next level figure. So that's what I felt about Kendrick's features, at least for a while now. And I feel like next to 2 Chainz, this is a really cool, flossy song. Like, it feels really good to listen to. Everything about the lines is fine. Like, there's no lyric here that feels annoying or anything. It just kind of feels like a really fun flossiness. I do like when Kendrick's like, sit you Rudy Poos in the nosebleed, now my pocket's holding big protein, because it's like, I don't know. It's just like, it's fine. Like, I like the Rudy Poos because it reminds me of The Rock, but like, I don't know. I just don't like listening to people who are richer than me talking about how they're richer than me. That is always going to be a hard one for me to get into as a person. It doesn't inspire me so much as I find it a little bit much. But at least they do it well. At least everybody sounds proper, because this shit's a 4.75. As much as the theme isn't my favorite, I don't think I'm really conveying how much I really found myself being like, yeah, as I'm like listening to it in my chair and I'm just vibing to it. So it does have that vibe. It does have that great beat. Everybody delivers like what they're supposed to. I just kind of wish the subject matter was a little bit more like an NCAA or another one on this album. It's fine for what it is. It's one of the higher graded ones I've given, as you can tell. Anyway, the next one has a fucking surprising feature. Miss Seven Rings herself, Araina Grande.
Right now I use love for a medication. Back in the day I should Cupid.
I don't know, 2 Chainz made it sound like everything about my relationship with Ariana Grande is super professional. We just work on songs. I ain't getting involved in my drama. And I really liked hearing him say that. But then Sway's like, so you did a song with the #1 chart topper. You sly dog, you. And 2 Chainz was like, almost like, you motherfucker. Did you have to say it? And I thought that was a hilarious moment in that interview. Again, that's linked below. I recommend checking it out. Listening to 2 Chainz talk was really fun. This is a power couple trap love song, is what I would call this. But what I love about it is this fucking power couple shit. Like, the girl knows that, like, she's waiting. There's some distance between them. She's worrying about him coming home, but she's used to this life. She's chosen it. She's down for the ride. She's with him. And then you have 2 Chainz coming in with stuff like, fell in love with a real one. This is a dedication. Had him patiently waiting for a revelation. Even when I ain't around, ain't no separation. Your skin smooth, your eyes brown. You're far from basic. We go to different places with no suitcases, but when we come back, we got suitcases. That's pretty cool. So he's so into this girl that when he's like chilling with her and he's heading around, it's like, fun fact, when I went to Pakistan, because I went with no clothes. It was like my suit that if I'm going to travel, I wear a suit. Behind that suit's because a suit's my thing otherwise. And then basically I went there with like nothing, threw out all the clothes I did go with, came back with a whole new wardrobe. And so I just picture that moment. It's like, oh, you're so wonderful. I'm so rich. Let's fly to another place. We're not even going to come with clothes. We're just going to get shit every day that we're there, you know? Right now, I use love for medication. Back in the day, I'd shoot Cupid with no hesitation. I got more than 40 acres for my reparations. Pussy on my navigation, that's my destination. I think it's cool that, like, because in the midst of all of this, typically you had the I fuck your hoe. And he did mention he used to fuck your hoes on this. But this might be the first time we're really going into like his desires for women on this. And it's about a down the ride girl that he's absolutely with. This person he's enjoying, this girl that he loves. Maybe it's a little bit, it's like a combination of her attitude and her looks, and he's really into that. I mean, even when he's popping ecstasy and they're fucking or whatever in the second verse, and she's just great. And I don't know that, like, lyrically it's like the greatest in terms of love songs, but it is really respectful, and it does like relate to somebody who is in a relationship and when you are in that person. So hearing him want to fuck the girl he's with and tear it apart, well, yeah, when you're in love with a girl, you want to fuck her and tear it apart. That's some proper shit. Like, more people need to be making songs about how being in a committed relationship is some hella good sex, because when you trust that girl, you can do the kinky stuff. Can't do the kinky stuff so much with strangers. That's like asking for charges in 2019. Nah, that's some relationship love shit if you really want to do it right. Anyway, like, sorry I didn't answer the phone. I was slapping ass last night. I didn't answer. I was pulling hairs. So y'all know me, so low key. Like, I enjoyed that. It's just like he's so into fucking his woman that like you don't even matter in that moment. It needs to be said that Araina Grande sounds gorgeous on that chorus. Like, it's like, you know, when you hear a voice and you're like, yeah, it makes sense that she has like the top 5 songs or whatever record she just hit recently. It's like, it makes sense. I mean, I can't stand the thank you next. Like, I hated that one. Like, she sounds so depressed and boring. But here it's like, when it's like this power couple type love, her jadedness really works. I liked it. I really like how she sounds. I think they work really well together, and I look forward to the next 2 Chainz Araina collaboration. This is cool. Earlier in the podcast, I mentioned how, like, it's really cool how they kind of use different samples and shit to, like, lace into particular parts to create, like, a dynamic effect on the beat. And I feel like they used Ariana's kind of, like, sounds just almost randomly placed throughout the song, not on regular intervals, to enhance the beat and create, like, an extra level of flair. And it's just really cool. It's just a really good song. It's like, this is one of the better rap love songs I've heard, to be honest with you, in terms of, at least in the trap genre. So I really dug it. 4.5 on 5. I could recommend this to people who are like, blah, blah, blah. Nah, man, this is some married people fucking shit, or at least relationship level fucking shit. That's more relatable than fucking host to me, at least. So anyway, I enjoyed that. Unfortunately, I feel like my trend of enjoyment got clipped a little bit, as it's a girl's best friend. I learned on this song that Lil Wayne was 2 Chainz' best man, and if you go to Genius, you can see a picture of 2 Chainz getting married, and there's Wayne standing next to him being his best man. Dolla is up on this shit. He's always good on a chorus. He's always doing some vapid shit like Dolla and I'll buy diamonds, buy some diamonds, I'ma buy some diamonds, I'ma buy some diamonds, I'ma buy some diamonds, they say diamonds. Diamonds, they say diamonds, a girl's best friend, best friend, best friend. I wanted to read it to you like that because that is the actual chorus read out in words. Now, he makes it sound nicer and it flows and whatever, but I don't like diamonds much because I went ahead and learned about the diamond industry, and then, you know, you watch Blood Diamond with Leo DiCaprio and you start Googling shit. And then, yes, there's cruelty-free shits and you can get clean diamonds and stuff, but I'm a person that this is my beliefs, you don't have to agree with me, that by buying clean diamonds, dirty diamonds, any kind of diamonds, you perpetuating a bunch of fake shit. Like the diamond industry scam of engagement rings. Like I told the girl, you can have whatever ring you want as long as it's not a diamond. You can find shit that's more, the ring can be more expensive than a diamond ring. It's not about the money. It's about the principle of the diamond. And that's my personality, because that diamond is a girl's best friend line is literally one of the best marketing scams. I think it's only 100 years old nowish. It is one of the best scams a generation has ever been subdued to, that has forced crazy amounts of debt on people. It is so ludicrous. That's not what this song's really about. So and if it is and I missed the point, my bad. I took it more like, well, I'm rich, so I'm gonna buy some shit and she'll fuck me. Anyway, I ain't playing, so no switching to the next plan. I need insurance on them Chainz, damn, a neck plan. Then I told Shorty earlier with the X Games, I ain't playing, I ain't tripping. I'm a hitter in the I'm a grown man, I ain't gotta bleep it out. But he did kind of bleep it out. So you got a new watch, let me peep it out. Yeah, new shit. I don't know. This again is really, like, this is the least for me song on this album. It's fine. So they hit me at the jeweler. Hallelujah. Let's spend some cash, get some more ass. I'm going to pop some more tags. I'm going to get some more bags. It's almost like Dr. Seuss in the flow. No disrespect, actually. That's a compliment because I like the lyrical flow of Dr. Seuss's writing, and it works. Some people might take that in a bad way, but no, it's a compliment. It really is. I think this song is well put together. I think it's exactly what it's supposed to be for a vapid pop song, but this to me is a vapid fucking pop song. I give it a 4 because it doesn't actually annoy me in any way. It's just, to me, it was a little disappointing to hear this, like, literally right after the power couple track with Araina. Although, technically in power couples, you can fuck people on the side because everybody trusts each other, and it's not really about that, so maybe it works. I don't know. This one was weird for me. I had a little bit of trouble with it. But as has been in the trend on the album, when I had some doubt, the next song blew me away. So let's talk about $2 Bill.
Like a $2 bill. Like a $2 bill.
So this song has 2 Chainz and Lil Wayne along with E40 basically describing in their verses how they are rare. Because the chorus has, I'm rare. And you're like, okay. And, like, you know what? The first couple times I heard it, I'm like, this is so bland. But no. It hypes up. It's like a build-up. It's like kind of like a simple that blows up into, like, something more explosive in a more vocal way. So I was like, okay, I can get into that. So he's rare, like a $2 bill. Okay. And it is a rare thing. I'm not going to call this hook the most brilliant thing I've ever heard. But it is interesting because, at least in Canada, $2 bills, I remember when they phased them out, we have toonies. Let me take a quick second here. This is my change cup, and if I reach, I don't know if you saw my cup. I wasn't looking at the camera. Hold on. No, that's a loonie. We are, in fact, going to pull out and show you the toonie because you probably have seen it. But this is a toonie, a $2 coin. And you'll see there's a polar bear right over there. That's a polar bear. That is a $2 coin. That replaced our $2 bill like sometime in my lifetime. I might have a $2 bill somewhere, but I don't think I do. That was I don't know if that was interesting to you. Anyway, 2 Chainz comes in and he's rapping proper. Spit cool shit, need Mucinex because he's got a cold, so he needs the medicine. Oof! Diamond chain around my neck with the crucifix. I mean, okay, I like the first line more than the second. Got a family now, so I got a pipe down for a young hoe. Fuck up my timeline. I'm like, okay, so he's got a family, meaning that if he fucks some hoe and she puts some shit on blast, his timeline's going to get fucked up with stories and scandals and gossip. So essentially what Mr. 2 Chainz is saying is he's got to behave and not fuck some young thought for randomness. He's got to be smart, you know? I wear my shades at night like Corey Hart. That's a good line. Corey Hart's... That's a good guy. That's a sad thing to think about. Anyway, I don't know if that's really what I was thinking. Maybe I'm wrong. I was thinking maybe it's not who I was. Sometimes you know what? Y'all know what I'm talking. I'm just going to keep going here and stop trapping and the plug say I broke his heart. Aw, because he had so much money coming through. So that's a big deal that he stopped. On a seafood diet, I don't fuck with pork. I respect that. The more I learn about health and shit, it's kind of cool. I'm not into seafood, but I respect where he's coming from. And I like that because the more people that kind of mention just dietary choices and choosing to eat smarter, the better we as people and healthier will become. I'm obviously not a skinny person. I have enjoyed shit food most of my life. And so this kind of lines remind me just to eat better, you know? I'm rare like a that's loyal. Oof, that's a good line. I'm rare like a girl with me that ain't spoiled. So if you are a girl with them, you gonna be floored. You're gonna get a lot of nice things, whatever. I'm rare like Mr. Clean with hair, because Mr. Clean doesn't have hair. Anyway, it's also a line that kind of whatever. then the chorus kicks in, whatever. I don't know why I keep saying whatever. Sometimes it's like mid-song, I get all like weirded out that I'm fucking boring or sucking or something. I digress. Verse 2 has Lil Wayne, and I really like how he starts off. I'm rare, I promise, I swear, I'm high midair, don't vomit up here. And he wants you to know that he'll get fucked up, and you don't have to worry about cleaning up a mess, and that is how Lil Wayne starts his verse. Like the 13th floor, fuck it, I'm gonna take the stairs. So a lot of buildings will skip a 13th floor literally and not have it there, and then I guess there's no elevator stop at it, so you have to take the stairs to get it. I'm not 100% sure the implications of the line. Like what 2 Chainz wears, that shit's from Rio de Janeiro. I thought that was cool, like, because I could just, Weezy's just going off the top with it, and so he looks up, he sees what he's wearing, and goes, oh, that's from Rio de Janeiro. It's in the fucking line. Runs on through. I find his verse to be quite flowing well, really enjoyable. It just fits this song. It's proper. But really, E40 kind of steals the show. Rare like 12 figures, rare like Wagyu steak, rare like 88 Polaroid pictures. Those are all definitely rare things. And it's said very quickly with his typical E40 crazy style. My bite is stronger than my bark. The shit like dog park. Treat a Bugatti like just a fucking go-kart. That's some bullshit. I mean, I wish I could afford to treat a Bugatti like a go-kart. And he just kind of comes in with his, like, he just sounds so smart, like entrepreneurial level smart. Hella sharks in his business. Stay with the harpoon. I got game like Donald going. Startup companies, cryptocurrency coins. Like a bicentennial quarter, I'm hella rare. And you know what? I love the fact that he's bringing up shit like cryptocurrency in the middle of his song, because for a while it was the smartest way to distribute narcotics. It might not be now, but for a while it was one of the smartest and intelligentest ways to do it in an anonymous way. I digress. I really enjoyed listening to it. I like when he's like, I'm an innovator, a trend sweater, far from a copycat. I don't rap like none of you. I'm one-on-one. The baddest bitch in the world could suck my dick, and I bet I won't come, bitch. I mean, that's hard when you know you're so fly that the baddest girl in the world could come at your dick and you still ain't gonna finish. I don't know. This one, the sound of the beat, the flyness to it, the flassiness to it, everybody coming on point, everybody delivering great lyrics and bars and everything. I thought it was incredible to listen to, so I gave this one a 5 on 5. Anyway, next track is called I Said Me.
Eat red pussy. I stay dripping cause the feds licking.
This is a fascinating thing. I don't know if the Araina Grande song came and 2 Chainz heard it and then wrote this, or if the remix, because the remix featuring 2 Chainz came out right before it. I guess maybe they came to the idea at the same time, but still, we got the raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens and bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens. You know, that shit. These are a few of my favorite things. Everybody likes that song. Everybody knows that song, at least. I can't stand musical shit, but it's pretty iconic. And then it just like flips in, raindrops some roses, and he's going, yeah, I got plenty of shit, I got plenty in the bag, I got plenty in my holster, plenty of ammo, big, long, like, you know what I'm saying, but my kids be listening to my shit now, so I haven't dumb that shit down, yeah? And so that was interesting. So while talking about all his favorite things, which is what he started in his music, will say, all of a sudden he has the extra element is, I'm a dad and my kids is growing up, so, yeah, my daughter asked me what a drug dealer was. I said me. I was like, fuck. That might be one of the hardest lines on the album, I think, because that is some unapologetic shit. And it's also not something I think you hear a lot of. Like, yo, when your kid approaches you and goes, Daddy, you used to rap about selling crack. What's a drug dealer? Well, I'm a drug dealer. When the lawyer asked me what a fucking killer was, I said me. When the bitch asked what a real was, I said me. Overseas in a yacht, they asking who it was, I said me. And then, I don't know, flows into the song. I get high if it's the right amount. I get a buzz checking my account. I get tipsy eating red pussy. I stay dripping because the Fed's looking. Teriyaki on my portobello. So many rats, my house look like a fender better. And it just kind of flows. I like when he said, I didn't have no work done like Kendall Jenner. Like kind of authenticity, yeah, that feel to it. Flows on the verses, and it's just hype. That's what I have to say about this. This is the best of the flossy hype shit, you know? Like, it feels unapologetic. It feels like this flair to it. It feels almost like a pinnacle of the album moment. Like this self-awareness on the track that gets delivered is so powerful. Maybe it's just a hook, but that hook is next level. Like you're at home like, yeah, my daughter asked me what a drug dealer was. I said me. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just that kind of person, but I just felt like this one I got so into so fast. I just lost my count counting blessings. 12th grade, got locked up for possessions. Tried to call God, he ain't answer. Sent me the voicemail, he pressed cancel. Load the AR for temper tantrums. Around, hit it AR, damn son. She knows she is snack like concession. I used to sell crack out detention. And you just like hear like the kind of life that he has going on here, the violence, the drug dealing, the whole situation. This is who he is, and he fucking owns it. And then, of course, he keeps doing these fucking lines to appeal to the geek in me. This shit here real as hell, no VR. It's fucking dope. I love it. I love the way he's approaching this shit. Chorus kicks back in. I like how he keeps sampling shit. Like I said, meat, raindrops, roses. Like, it's just cool the way that they're doing this. And then, you know, third verse flows in, comes on through, and all in all, I gotta say, this song is literally one of the best on the project. I would say if I had to say there was one song I listened to, I might point to I Said Me. I'm kind of torn between $2 Bill and I Said Me. Those two songs are like the flyest points of this album. So like we went from like the worst song in my opinion to like the best two. So I'm giving this a 5. This is some next level shit to me. I really enjoyed this shit, and I don't know, something about it hit me perfectly. All right, next one is I'm Not Crazy, Life Is.
Crazy man. They say look at that crazy man.
I feel like this one just kind of has each of these guys describing situations where people felt they were crazy, but they still kind of persevered and it was worth it. So like 2 Chainz starts us off going that good ass weed though. I feel like good ass weed can solve any problem. I get what you mean, 2 Chainz. Understood. Stay in the streets like it's room and board. They know me for it. That's beside the point. Like a shooting guard, I'm moving forward, which is cool because basketball in the streets is kind of like his things, you know, where he comes from. Had aspirations of college ball. I done it all. Back on the wall, I'm so appalled. I'm gonna brawl. My fashion sense commenced when I was young. Wore guns and dungarees next to a pack of gum. Unfit mothers that's on butters. Concrete gutter. Wanna hear that gun talk, that Draco stutter. You just hear him painting out, like, you can just picture where he comes from, the life that he was inspired by was. And again, it has this very much was feeling to it. This is the life I chose, and then it chose me back. They threw me out to the wolves threw me back. Got no compassion for rest. The pastor said, who else gonna bleed for me? I told all my side bitches they wouldn't cheat on me. And it's just like this attitude, this like unapologetic, don't give a fuck situation. And I'm like, damn. Like, on the one hand, 2 Chainz brings some vapid shit. On the other hand, he brings heavy shit of his real truth, you know? And then that chorus, they say I'm crazy now. They say I was crazy then. They're like, look at that crazy man. They say, look at that crazy man. So if you picture him in the streets trying to push it, trying to pursue his dreams, people might think he's crazy for living that life, especially if you're a straight-A student selling drugs and playing ball. That might be a life people consider to be a little bit crazy. Especially having a harem and expecting them to be faithful. That might be crazy to some people. Chance the Rapper comes in, and then he starts us off a little more political. I met my BM when I was 9. I had a hunch back then, but I took my time. I told him Trump was going to win. So did I. They said, you lying? But the truth is, you knew Trump was going to win off his first speech if you were really looking at the signs. Seen a whole bunch of signs. I didn't sign. So he stayed. So that's a cool thing, because he saw the signs in regards to Trump winning, but also maybe record labels and shit. He didn't sign to it. I told you empty your pockets before you took my charger. I told you they wasn't solid before you took them charges. You know, like, just kind of letting people know that he was a little prophetic with it. And then my favorite one is I'm like a fortune teller, Orson Welles. And I've been thinking a lot about Orson Welles, and especially 1984 recently. So that's a really cool thing, because that book is mad prophetic. And a cool retelling of the story is The Circle, which I read recently. That's a cool book. Freer than an open letter, I connect the polka dots. They gonna say conspiracy. Haters gonna say it's Photoshop. I'm like, damn. That's some fucking crazy shit. Like, no matter what, you can spit the truth and you're going to have that polarized kind of response from it. And then Kodak Black comes in. While I'm not the hugest fan of the effects he chooses to use on his voice, I do have to appreciate that he took this verse to basically validate himself. Fuck Instagram. I don't need your blue check. He doesn't have to be verified. I guess he's not a verified artist, but maybe he is. So apparently he's now verified. Project Baby, my whole family in a duplex. I be stepping on fellas' house. I still be selling records. I'm about to call my little homie and go steal me a Tesla. Travis Scott say he loved when I put my soul in it. J. Cole told me I'm the one that Cole with it, which is true. J. Cole was kind of like, yeah, he kind of reminds me of some other dudes that I grew up, you know, from my part of town. AM outside the glizzy, he said that boy silly. Versace on my feet, Versace on her titty. Okay, fine. I got 2 Chainz on my neck, but I'd be more litty. Good that he's doing a 2 Chainz shout out. Remember, Master P told me I'm the new Diddy. Master P tried to sign me. I wasn't going for it. I told Birdman, you gonna need some more coins. And I like that because, man, Kodak is kind of saying these legitimate artists you all love my passion. Master P, the business mogul of all time, not of all time, but he's a huge business mogul who should get some more shine and love for his business prowess than he does. Tried to sign him, saw vision in him. Nah. And then he's like, I told everybody, you're going to need more to get me. He knows his value. He knows his worth, which is almost something 2 Chainz has been promoting on this album. So actually having Kodak Black here is hella interesting and makes it really cool. The beat's cool. I found it was like a really enjoyable experience. The song had a lot to say. I like the fact that they had 3 such different perspectives, 3 different types of people that you might call crazy, and how they spun it. And that is really cool. So I gave it a 4.5 on 5. That brings us to the last one on the album. And yeah, because 2 Chainz wrote so much to talk about, there's going to be more to talk about as we discuss Uncle Sam.
Uncle Sam taking grams out the bag. I think Sam.
I mean, some people might hear this and go, this is a boring fucking song about taxes, because, I mean, it's not always exciting to talk about taxes, but it's a really important song, I think, just a perspective piece. You know, he's rich, and he's like, hey, say one more chance, you say one more chance, you say one more chance, you won't forget it. At this point, I'm like, whatever. I'm not really sure what that one more chance is. Say it one more time, I don't stand in line, got my drive in overdrive, I work overtime, you take half of mine. And then when you really think about taxes, that's kind of what happens. Like in Canada, I think between the income tax that is like 35% of what I make gets taken off, and like trust me, I don't make 2 Chainz money. I'm like middle class. I'm not even upper class, so like 35% goes away just off of income tax plus whatever other benefits you get. And you have to have insurance, right, in Canada, if your company offers it, so that's like an extra little bit a year. And then there's sales tax, where in Quebec it's 15%, so essentially I'm giving up like literally half my money to taxes personally. So hearing a song about taxes, knowing how much I pay in taxes, I kind of like that. They say, yeah, my uncle, like the middleman, is stealing on the side to survive. They say taxes gonna pay for the plan. I think Sam taking grams at the bag. That's just a hook. Uncle Sam taking grams at the bag. I think Sam taking grams at the bag. Yo, let me tell you one thing. Maybe Uncle Sam isn't selling weed because federally it's whatever, but Quebec's literally taking grams at the bag. There's a couple people who scaled the weed that Quebec sold, and it wasn't exactly honest. I believe that Quebec is putting packaging into the weight of what they sell, which I believe you're allowed to do. So if you were to purchase 1 gram and 0.4 of that gram is the weight, well, that is not a very nice gram, Mr. Government Dealer. I digress. I don't know that the verses or anything were that interesting to me. A bracket that you put you in all depends. See the taxes pay the government to build a new bridge. See the take from the rich, give to the poor and sick, and I can't lie, bit on both sides of the fence. See the education levels around here don't exist. Taxes pay 12, but don't pay him to kill the kids. What it is. That was just a cell phone in his hand. I think Sam taking grams at the bag. And so, I mean, in a perfect world, the taxes would be like the rich get taxed, and then the poor would get the money, and then everything would be good. But in his reality, the poor never gets the money, so it just ends up being like when the cops who are backed by Uncle Sam are killing kids with cell phones and shit, like literally shooting them down and stuff, maybe it seems like these people are taking all your money and then shooting you down. So it kind of feels like Sam's taking grams at the bag. Then he does in his outro a little bit more of a talky thing, where he describes what tax is: a mandatory financial charge imposed upon a taxpayer by a government organization in order to fund various public expenditures. A failure to pay, along with evasion or resistance to taxation, is punishable by law. And that's true. Tax is like a social agreement that, like, if you accept your identity, you agree to this contract where you pay taxes in exchange for social services. You don't have a choice, so it's kind of like you have to do it, or it's illegal and they can put you in jail. But yeah, so it's kind of like you're being extorted by the government. I mean, I'm okay with paying taxes. Like, I get it, and I'm okay with the whole notion, but when you really think about it, it's kind of fucked up when there's all the corruption and bullshit that does go on. Like, I'm not okay with taxes in a system that allows corporate lobbying, which both my country, even though it's illegal, does, and your country and the States probably does, and if you're in everywhere, it's everywhere, okay? In that world, it kind of sucks. And then, so if you make more than $500,000, you make over $100,000 a year, Sam want 35% of that, which is almost 40, which is almost 50. I just told you I give it 50 because he's not including sales tax, which would push it up. I remember being in the game song. I know a lot of people, you know, he had to pay like $2 million in taxes, and then Diddy's like, I had to pay 100, and I gave him 105 just in case, you know? So it's almost like you have to pay a little bit more to bribe the government so they don't even dig deeper and come back and claim you owed them, even if you're being honest, even if you're doing it right. This song is kind of heavy and it's long, but its purpose is not so much to entertain you in the sense of being a fly song, but to educate you on that this is a very important subject that people really need to know about. And I really admire it. I give it a 4.6, and I think it is a very interesting way to end the album because it's almost like if you make it, regardless if you rap, go to the league, or do something else, you still have to deal with taxes. And so ultimately, the real trapper, the real people exploiting and whatever would be Uncle Sam, the government. That's cool. That's an interesting, almost punk way to end this album. So as far as the project goes, I gave it a 4.507. I know sometimes when I grade my Classic Quest albums, that's my cutoff. It's a 4.5. It's a classic. I don't know that this is a classic album. I think this is a really well-made album that furthers the point that real hip-hop is being made. Like that real hip-hop culture shit that's meant to educate, inspire, and lift people out of, like, poverty. And I think that's his goal on this album, is to get you to think and to be smarter. So for that, I admire that that 2 Chainz dropped a very powerful project, and a really great project, and a project that I think deserves a lot of respect. I don't know if this is the 2 Chainz project per se, but I think this is a great project, and what this does is secures me as a 2 Chainz fan and has me excited for his next album. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does next. I hope he continues in this direction. I know he was talking about breath control and wanting to learn how to go like really fast and shit in that interview. So I would love to see him become a chopper a little bit. But I'm so impressed by the maturity and the fact that it's like a grown man trying to be a grown man on this project. I think that's very important in this day and age. So that's what I have to think about that. But more importantly, I care a lot about what you have to think about that. So feel free to hit me up in the comments and let me know what you think about this review, this album, anything really. I'll talk to you. That's what it is in the comment section. Special thanks to Vidal Williams, Super Old School 1994, Chris Prado, Carl J, and Ismail Gadamsi. They support what we do. They helped us get a new camera. They're going to help. They just keep helping us and inspiring us. And it really matters, because it's not the easiest thing in the world to day in, day out make these reviews, but to know that these people support us and it really just inspires us, and they get to tell us what albums to review. So as an example, this weekend we're recording a review for Lindell Williams. We're going to be doing Boogie Down Productions Edutainment, and if you join the Patreon, you can force our hands. The following week will be from Carl, and it's going to be Goody Mob Soul Food, and that is just kind of where it's at. So you can check us out there and tell us whatever you want. Get access to content early as long as I'm on time with it. And we have a public Discord now that you can join in the description. And if you join the Patreon, I'll send you the link to the private one so you can talk to us there and kind of have a little bit of access to us. And we're going to look into more cool things to give you over time. I dropped a project recently on Spotify, iTunes. It's even on this very channel. If you want to just hit, the Behind That Suit thing, I put our music as like the top shit so you can check it out. So you can let me know what you think about that. And on that note, I'll look forward to the next review. That K Reno shit's still coming. For those of you wondering, I'm going to record it soon. Take care. Have a wonderful week. Peace.